So I'm David Gracyalny. I'm Dean of the School for Professional and Continuing Studies at Maryland Institute College of Art. I want to talk to you today about an idea I have relative to the themes of the program for this symposium that I think is a couple of things that are really compelling. One is that it's sort of simple, and the other is that it has a low barrier to entry. At least I think that's the case. You'll have to tell me whether you agree or not. So I think everybody's familiar with SNAP and a lot of the data that's been coming out from SNAP about what we do well, what we could do better. I don't think this is compelling information about things that we do particularly bad, but it's compelling information anyway. AICAD schools help develop the following skills: not at all, and financial and business skills, entrepreneurial skills. Undergraduates say over 40% for business and financial skills, a little bit over 35% for entrepreneurial skills. Graduates, you can see the graph there. And then leadership skills and networking and relationship building are also there, and I think they're compelling to what I'm going to talk about, but they're not as bad a set of data. Again, not terrible data, but I think data that is compelling in terms of how we move forward and the kinds of things we can do in the future. So here's some other interesting information I think that's compelling. Almost 1 million businesses in the United States involve the creation and distribution of art. The U.S. Commerce Department says about 43% of small businesses survive past the first critical 4 years. 87% of them who have experienced some sort of training in business continue to survive past those 4 years. With this in mind, with the commitment to the idea of creating an opportunity for the creative professional to take control of the distribution of creative work and to do it in an environment that feels safe to those people who are from the creative industries, we created something at MICA called the Master of Professional Studies in the Business of Art and Design. These programs are educationally focused on applied fields of study. So this program you'll see shortly is very focused, very precise. There's not a lot of fat in the program, very lean. It's 14 months long, and I think critical to this conversation, it's online. So this is a little context for what I want to share with you in a moment. It's not really the main thrust of my topic. Anyway, this is the content of the program. This is, I think, fairly unique at AICAD schools. As you can see, there's no studio practice here. It's all very focused on business skills. This is designed this way to demonstrate the pipeline that you go into. There is no stopping. You're in for almost 15 months just taking class after class after class that is really designed to teach you what it's like to be a small to run a small business. This is a small business administration degree. I don't think I can say that there was a revelation about this content, but some ideas started generating out of the fact that now we're doing this. We're developing an expertise in a couple of things, in the delivery of content online. We're developing expertise in the area of this kind of content, this kind of content in the context of an art and design school. So people started talking about it, and I'm sorry for this terrible graphic. This is a last-minute choice, but anyway, I thought it was kind of fun. So everybody said, let's do something with this content. How can we get this content outside of the master's degree and to other students at the college? As you can imagine, we have students studying all kinds of other disciplines. And so we started experimenting with this content. Our first experiments took place last year in the fall of 2013 and in the spring of 2014. So the first attempt at doing something like this is we created a class called the Introduction to the Business of Art and Design for 2 credits. It was online. We also did a class in market research and then a class in small business basics. The first class that we ran, there was some evaluations that came back to us asking us to kind of separate some of the content, give it in smaller doses. We also heard from undergraduate students that they didn't quite understand what a 2-credit class was and how does that fit, where does it fit, so they wanted something more aligned with the traditions of our institution, which are 3-credit classes in the undergraduate area. So we created these classes to solve that problem. So the first time around, we had 9 students. I don't think these numbers look amazing, but they are numbers that suggest some developing interest in this, and we're hoping to see more of this. This is just our first kind of attempt at it. So we had 9 students. 5 of those students were undergraduates and 4 were non-matric. So we opened the class up to anybody who wanted to take the class outside of MICA. And because it was online, students could take the class from anywhere, not just from our region. And then the market research class, I think it's a little dry sounding. So we got fewer students, but we got 1 grad student in it, 2 undergrads, and then another non-matric. And then finally we did this small business basics class. For 1.5 credits, we got 10 students, 1 graduate, 8 undergraduates, and 1 non-matric. So this is what the students looked like in it. The grad student came out of our social design MA, and then our undergraduate majors that were represented in the program were illustration, interdisciplinary sculpture, fiber, general fine arts, animation, graphic design, and art history. So we were continuing to collect information from the students about what that experience was like, what should we do next, what should it look like, and this is what we've come up with for the next round of this class. It's going to happen next semester. It's an introduction to the business of art and design class for 3 credits. It's online. The content is sort of broad-based, but it includes the topics that I've shown you here. What's the marketplace? What are business entities and operations? What is marketing? How's it done? Taxes and finances, legal consideration, contracts, intellectual property licensing. There's some negotiation in this class as well. And so that's where we are, and I think what I wanted to sort of bring this to you to do is say, here we are at this moment. This is still kind of a nascent project, and what I think is really interesting about it is because it is nascent, it's not calcified, it's a chance for us to have dialogue, to think about how we might take advantage of the current plasticity and flexibility of this opportunity, and think about some of the things that we might want to accomplish as a consortium. The class is scalable, it's mobile, it can be synchronous, it can be asynchronous, it can come in a lot of different models. So that's where I think we can talk. I think some of the conversations we're having at MICA about this class are relevant to this group as well. Where does this fit in the curriculum? Is it a liberal arts class? How do we make room for it? How do we get students to take a class and give up studio experiences or other experiences they might want to have? Things of that nature. And how do we market it better? So anyway, those are my thoughts on this particular opportunity. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me here. And I hope this is something that can generate some greater dialogue with the rest of the group. Thanks a lot.